Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Considering this is a Simpsons review, should I do this review in Simpsons form? Nah, just kidding, guys. The Simpsons Movie, directed by David Silverman and produced by Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, and is the movie adaptation of everyone's favourite cartoon family, The Simpsons. Now, The Simpsons Movie tells the story of Homer Simpson unintentionally causes the most enormous and intimidating looking glass dome to be put over Springfield, and once the cat's out of the bag that Homer was the cause of this catastrophe, the entire town wants the Simpsons dead. So the Simpsons, they're on the run, they move to Alaska, but when it's revealed that the villainous Russ Cargill is plotting to blow up Springfield, Homer must decide, does he stay where it's safe or go back and save his folks at Springfield? While also I want to say, guys, happy 10th anniversary to the Simpsons Movie. I cannot believe it was 10 years ago, July 27th, 2007, this movie was released in theatres worldwide. Because at the time, it came out around the time me and my family moved into our new house, and it was the first major summer blockbuster that I was that I was hyped for. It was one of my most anticipated movies of all freaking time when it was released. I mean, it's the Simpsons Movie. It's a movie based on the Simpsons. How can it not be awesome? So I was praying and begging it to be an awesome movie. I desperately wanted to love it. And once me and my family saw it, our thoughts were so complicated. To be honest, I'm not lying. I didn't know what to think of the movie. Did I love it or hate it? But now I'm 22, I'm 10 years older than I was when I saw it, and looking back on this movie, rewatching it now to give a final score and rating, it hasn't aged well. The Simpsons Movie is arguably the most disappointing movie of all time. But first, let's get into the positives, because their voice actors all reprise their role. Dan Castellaneta, Julie Kavner, Nancy Cartwright, and Yardley Smith, as well as Hank Azaria and Harry Schrezer, and the entire voice acting cast for The Simpsons are in this movie, and they are fabulous. They all deliver as best they can. And I love how in the end credits they actually reveal the voice actors voicing literally every character they voice. Dan Castellaneta isn't just Homer. Nancy Cartwright isn't just Bart. Julie Kavner isn't just Marge. I bet some viewers never even knew that. That's how talented these voice actors are. They have such diversity and variety, and the animation is outstanding. It will blow you away by how good the hand-drawn animation blended with CGI actually is. I never even noticed the CGI that was used for the more epic sequences, and thank God this movie's hand-drawn. Let's send a message to Hollywood that hand-drawn is so much better than CGI. And I loved the medicine woman. She was a wonderful new character. And I have to admit, the Simpsons Movie is a delight when it comes to the humour. This is one of the most hilarious family movies I have ever seen in my life. And I have to admit, And I have to admit, even if the story doesn't captivate you, the humour in this movie will. This is one of the most hilarious family movies of the past decades. And I have to admit, even if the story of this movie doesn't grab you, the humour most certainly will. This movie is a hilarious, huge treat for the entire family. I think the comedy in this movie is actually better than some of the later seasons of the show, where the jokes just grew tired and they were running out of inspiration and ideas. However, in this movie, the jokes are some of the best in the Simpsons franchise. Like, for example, at the start of the movie when Homer dares Bart to skateboard to Krusty Burger and back nude when he's just naked, and he lands on the window at the Krusty Burger when Ned Flanders and Rod and Todd are about to have dinner, and Ned's like, "Boys, before we eat, don't forget to thank the Lord for this bountiful." Then Bart lands on the window, and the chip is covering Bart's penis, and Rod and Todd are like, "Bountiful penis, Armin." Oh my god, classic. Why can't the writers try this hard in the later seasons of the show? Not to mention, there are some wonderful, heartfelt moments with the Simpsons family themselves, like when Marge and Bart, Lisa and Maggie decide to just abandon Homer and leave to rescue Springfield. That's made me cry. The fact that Marge made that video to inform Homer, she even taped it over their wedding video, or just tears were rolling down from my eyes. I wish there were more moments like that in the movie, and the setup for this movie is amazing. Even if the second half of the movie doesn't nearly live up to expectations that the movie was building up to, the setup immediately got me invested when Grandpa acts berserk in the church when he's like, horrible things are going to happen. People of Springfield heed this warning. Twisted tail, 1,000 eyes, trapped forever. My God, holy shit, I was stunned after that scene. That got dark. I mean, that's immediately makes the audience presume that the rest of the movie is just going to be nothing but pure epicness from that moment on, and Springfield are going to have to face the fight for their lives, and the stakes are going to be raised higher than ever. This is going to be the movie cinematic experience from The Simpsons that we were all hoping for. And finally, the best thing about this movie is Spider Pig. When Homer's like, Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. That joke has become an iconic meme. I'm not surprised. But sadly, guys, that's all the good things I can praise about the Simpsons movie. Just half of it, is good, if not great, but the other half, just forget about it. What's incredibly underwhelming and unsatisfying about this movie is the execution of the apocalypse plot. They set this plot up flawlessly, but the payoff's incredibly boring. It's all we get of the apocalypse plots in the end is just a generic one-dimensional bad guy, Russ Cargill, who wants to enclose a dome over Springfield because the lake has been polluted, and he wants to blow up Springfield then and turn it into a new Grand Canyon to make some bucks. That is all we get. We get none of the apocalypse foreshadowing that we were promised. And even if they they throw in a bomb later on for the movie's finale. Even so, that's still an extremely anticlimactic payoff in comparison to what you were building up, movie. And the people of Springfield, the movie made them just totally unlikable and despicable in the second half. Why would they want to just straight up murder the entire Simpson family when it was only Homer who caused the problem in the first freaking place? And the new characters and new additions turned out to be entirely forgettable. Every single one of them, especially Colin, Lisa's new love interest that they brought in for this movie to give Lisa her own romantic subplots. Colin he's paper thin and boring, and he serves no purpose to the story other than to be Lisa's boyfriend. I never resonated with Colin, and I never brought his romance with Lisa. If Colin was removed from the movie, you wouldn't even notice. And the antagonists, our villain, Russ Cargill, forget about him. He, as a villain, is so one-dimensional and boring. And I mean, why did they even need a new villain when they have plenty of awesome villains as it is, like Mr. Burns, Sideshow Bob, Kang Cods, all timeless, iconic villains in comparison to Russ Cargill, this nothing of a villain. And his motivation is he just wants to blow up Springfield to make it into a new Grand Canyon to make himself bucks. How many times have we seen that cliched motivation before? A million times, if you ask me. At least Russ Cargill delivers a charismatic voice acting performance, and the way he gets his just desserts did get a laugh out of me. I'm not going to lie, when Maggie just drops the rock on his head. But Russ Cargill, he could have been so much better than he was. And how the hell did the president let Russ Cargill so easily manipulate him? He's the president, he's the man in charge. If he had any common sense, he'd have Russ Cargill locked up in Alcatraz for the acts of terrorism he was committing. And as a result of the lack of stakes in this movie doesn't feel like a movie. It just feels like an extended special episode of The Simpsons, as my mum said after she watched it. And she is 100% correct. This doesn't feel like a cinematic release at all. The trailers, they totally deceived us when they said this.
And the fate of the world hangs in the balance.
Yeah, sorry Fox, but there was no fate of the world at stake in this movie whatsoever when we actually saw it. Thanks for lying to us and getting us hyped for no reason. The movie should have had a epic final battle for Springfield and the entire world, and put the Simpsons in the greatest perils and force the Simpsons to make the most heart-wrenching decisions of their lives. That would have made an extraordinary Simpsons movie. And the movie we got, it's passable, but just a passable Simpsons movie, not what we wanted. So the Simpsons movie, despite being hilarious and having gorgeous animation and remarkable voice acting, just ended up being a run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road and by-the-numbers adaptation of a classic cartoon show. I mean, I really hope they make a Simpsons movie 2 someday to help the movie actually feel cinematic and give it higher stakes and make up for the mistakes they made with this movie.
I give the Simpsons movie 3 stars.
stars, I'll survive. Love you guys, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what did you think of the Simpsons movie? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Google Plus and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And my last Jedi review will be posted and up on Sunday, since my mum kindly booked me and my family tickets to see it for Sunday. So look out for my review then. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.